Welcome back in one of the Bears Rubber Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, January 25th, and we have so many games to break down for the college basketball slate. We're going to be breaking down 5 total games, 3 total player props. Going to be no plays on Sunday, though. I want to get that out there right now. There's only one game in the NBA, a handful of games in college basketball, no top 25 matchups in college basketball. I think there's only 1 or 2 top 25 teams playing all together on Sunday. Nobody's trying to steal the spotlight of the conference championship games in the NFL, so I will not either. No college basketball breakdown on Sunday, but we have a loaded slate of games on Saturday. Before we break those games down, Friday night, Marquette, they did cover the spread. They just finished up 87-74, I want to say. Pretty competitive game by Villanova. Dixon had 18 points, foul trouble early. 2 fouls he picked up. He had only 3 or 5 points in the first half. Finished with 18. Was not his shooting night, and it's a good thing because if he was on, Villanova had a chance to win that game. Marquette just outplayed him in the second half, and Dixon was missing all of his shots. But 18 points is still pretty impressive for having a bad night. So 1-1 so far there. We're going to lose Michigan, and it hurts my soul. This is my largest wager of the night, and from the first 3 minutes, I knew this game was going to be over. It was 12-2. Then it was 19-5 or 7, and then it was 28-9. And then from there, I just had it in the background, and I am forcing myself to watch it as punishment for taking Michigan after Purdue got their hearts ripped out by Ohio State in their last game at home, and Ohio State came back by down 18 points to win the game outright. It is 74-45 right now. 74-45 with 9:30 left in the second half. I'm going to continue to watch this game as punishment, but I will say Purdue, they're playing good defense. They didn't miss a shot in the first 5 minutes of the game. It's just something about college basketball. There's something in the air. Some of these teams have it year after year. Even with bad teams like Purdue, I still think they're a bad team. You just get this feel, and it's just the environment of being at home. Everything you put up goes in. Smith had a fadeaway 3. Smith had an 18-footer fadeaway with Golden in his face. Looked like a teardrop. It was insane how high it went up in the air. Nothing but net. Purdue couldn't miss. Michigan missed everything and had 5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the game. So horrible pick with Michigan. Danny Wolf, I don't think he's even close. I want to say he had 3 rebounds in the first half. Haven't really been paying that close attention, but I would love to hit his over rebounds if he stays in the game. I highly doubt he's even in the game right now. It's at a commercial, but they're down by 30 points. Maybe he's in, maybe he's not, but we have the 9.5 as the play. Let me just check my phone, go to FanDuel, and see what he's got, because it's looking like a 1-3 night's what I'm trying to tell you, but we've got a lot of games on the horizon for Saturday. Danny Wolf has 2 rebounds. Yeah, that ain't it. So we're going 1-3 on Friday night. Tough pill to swallow after being decent over the last several games. Let's get into these Saturday games. Let's just sweep the board. Let's just sweep the board and get it over with. This is not the first game we're starting with. This is the first game we're starting with. Ole Miss going up against Missouri. This is a tough game. Ole Miss coming off back-to-back losses. Top 25 team Mississippi State, top 25 team Texas A&M. If you watched that Texas A&M game, they had to make a 12-2 run in the final 4 minutes to win that game. They won it on not a buzzer beater, but it was 8 or 9 seconds left, a 3 on the fast break on the right wing for Texas A&M. Went all the way up in the air, found a way to come down, and Ole Miss just couldn't get it on the other side. Had a couple bunnies at the end of the game, but they just couldn't win the game. They blew that one at home. They're going to be playing with a lot of passion in this game. They're in desperation mode after dropping back-to-back in the SEC. Missouri lost their last game as well on the road against Texas. That game was brutal to watch. Had to wash your eyes out after that game. Nobody can make a shot. I think the under is going to hit in this one. I think both these teams are going to be fierce. I think both these teams bring some good defense. I don't see a lot of shot making. So I'm going to go with the under because I don't want to pick a side. I just don't want to pick a side. If I had to, Missouri at home. Even though I don't think Missouri is the better team, I would take Missouri at home. Ole Miss has dropped back-to-back as well. So I don't want anything to do with the side on this game. Just give me the under. 144.5. Defense will be good in this game. Next game, Houston going up against Kansas. Kansas is the underdog. That is disrespectful to Allen Fieldhouse. They were the favorite, now the underdog because KJ is not going to play in this game. I knew KJ wasn't going to play in this game. Perfectly fine with that. Kansas found something going up against TCU at about the 12-minute mark in the first half. They used that little bit of that they learned in the first half going up against TCU, and they dominated the second half going up against TCU. So I do think Kansas will have a game plan for Houston. I like Storr on the court with Mayo, so hopefully they figure that out. Dickinson might need him in this game. I don't see us needing Dickinson at all in this game. Houston typically runs a smaller lineup and they like to push the pace and they play defense. Dickinson's going to be a walking turnover out there. So hopefully Bill Self does make the adjustments with Dickinson out there. But I think KU has the guard play now to keep up with Houston. In the past years, they really haven't. But with Zeke Mayo and Storr and Colt, they've got the guard play now to match this Houston team pretty well. It's going to be about heart. It's going to be about hustle. It's going to be about defense. And it's all going to be about the environment at the end. I think Kansas wins this game outright. They're plus 2.5. Disrespect with Allen Fieldhouse. Give me the on the money line here as the second play. Third play, Tennessee going up against Auburn. Another game that I have no idea who's going to win this game. Tennessee and Auburn are basically the same team. Auburn can score a bunch of points night after night after night, but sometimes they can score 60 points. Tennessee's the exact same way. Sometimes they can score 80, sometimes they go for 60, but both teams know how to play defense. I think both these teams will play great defense. Auburn's last loss was against Duke. Tennessee's lost a couple games against Florida and Vanderbilt. I would say Tennessee's the more desperate team, but going on the road to face off against Auburn, this is not an environment. Tennessee's probably going to win this game. I think they're plus, let's see what they are right now. Tennessee right now is plus 6.5. So if you want to take the points, caution with Tennessee because they've been very streaky shooting the ball at times. Give me the under here, 141.5. I think, again, both defenses show up. Both offenses are going to struggle just a little bit. Fourth play, Texas A&M going up against Texas. You cannot bet against Texas A&M after what they did to Ole Miss in the last game. 12-2 run. That bench at the end of that game was so excited. They took 2 or 3 minutes before they even lined up for handshakes. Those guys were on fire in the last 4 minutes of that game. They did it with turnovers, they did it with full court pressure, and they did it with shot making towards the end of the game. And really none of it was by Phelps and Wade Taylor. I think Phelps had a couple driving layups, but most of it was done by other players. That is huge for this Texas A&M team. I think they win this game outright. They're currently, I think, an underdog. Yeah, this is pick projector says Texas has a 64% chance to win. Texas is not a very good team. Trey Johnson, I watched the game the other night. I didn't notice this before. He's got a hitch in his shot. You remember Markelle Fultz, how he had that hitch going to the NBA? Trey Johnson has a little bit of a hitch, and I did notice that in the three-point shots. Maybe something's off with his form, but this is a guy who was scoring 18 points per game, had a couple bad games in a row. I think Texas A&M has the better players, even though they're on the road. Texas is coming off a pretty big win at home. I think Texas A&M finds another way to win a close game on the road, just like they did against Ole Miss. I'll take them on the money line as the play here. Final play of the day. It's a flyer pick. It's a flyer pick here. Duke on the road against Wake Forest. Wake Forest on the money line. It's happened before, and it's going to happen again this year. Wake Forest is going to find a way to win this game at home. They've got great guard play. Duke has not played a soul. Not one good team besides Auburn. After that Auburn game, they have not played one good team over the last month and a half of basketball. I'd say the best team that they've played over the last month and a half has been SMU. They dominate SMU, just to give them some credit, but they've been playing some weak-ass opponents over the last several games. Wake Forest has a loss against Clemson. They've played a couple really good teams, including North Carolina. In their last game at home, they did protect home court in that game, winning by 1. I like Wake Forest to win this game outright. Probably going to be a double-digit underdog in this game. I don't care. I'm taking the flyer on Wake Forest as the final play of the day. Let's go over to the player props for tomorrow, and we're going to start with one of the best players for Wake Forest this season, Hunter Salas, to go over his total points going up against Duke. He is averaging 19.2 points per game, nearly 50% shooting on the year. Had a pretty bad game going up against North Carolina. 19 shots, only 7 made, 0 made from 3. He's got to knock down some threes in this game. He's made 3+ threes in back-to-back games. You don't count that North Carolina game. He has also scored 20-plus points in 6 of the last 7 games he's been in. So I think he's going to score 20-plus points once again in this game going up against Duke. He's going to be the difference maker for Wake Forest. He has to have 20-plus points. They've got to play good defense. I think Wake Forest can hold this Duke team off just enough at the end. They just got to find a way to have a 1 or 2 possession game with 5 minutes left in the game. If they can do that, I think they can win the game. It's harder to do that than what I just said, but they've done it before. They can do it again. Give me Hunter Salas here over his total points as the first play on the player prop side. Second play, we're going all over points today. Jason Edwards of Vanderbilt to go over his total points going up against Kentucky. I've talked about Kentucky a lot this season. The defense is not existent. They don't have defense whatsoever, and only at home are they very good offensively. On the road, they're not very good offensively either. This Kentucky team, the defense doesn't travel whatsoever because they don't have a defense to start with. 265th in the nation. Jason Edwards has been a monster for Vanderbilt this season. 17.3 points per game, 45% shooting. He's coming off a really good game going up against Alabama. 20 shots, only 8 of 20 from the field, but he scored 21 points. He's pretty good at getting himself to the free throw line. He makes a lot of threes, and he takes a lot of threes. So I like him in this game going up against Kentucky. Vanderbilt's going to be on watch in this one to upset Kentucky as well. I know Vanderbilt's a good team. They did beat Tennessee at their place a couple nights ago, so I think Vanderbilt's going to give Kentucky everything they can handle. Give me their best player over his total points going up against that horrible defense. Final play of the day, DJ Wagner. DJ Wagner follows Cal to Arkansas. He was the freshman star for Kentucky, came off the bench. I think he started a few games towards the end, but he was known in the tournament. He was known in March Madness for being a sharpshooter from the outside. He was the spark guy for Kentucky in that freshman year. But this year, 10 points per game with Arkansas, that's going to shoot way up in this game because that first game going up against Georgia, Boogie Fland was ruled out for the rest of the season, it looks like, with a season-ending injury to his hand. I think he did get surgery on that, so he's not going to play in this game. Probably not going to play the rest of the season. DJ Wagner had 14 shots in that Georgia game, only scored 9 points, but he had 14 shots. He is going to make half of those 14 shots in this game going up against Oklahoma. It's a law of averages thing. He's a very good shooter. I do think he's going to go over his 10.5 points. That's a very low number for a guy who's very explosive. He can hit threes. He's very good at transition points, and he's pretty good at getting himself on the line. So I like him in this game over his total points, 9.5, maybe 10.5 as the final play of the day there. Let's go take a look at the recap graphic. We have so many things to look at. It's insane. All right, let's start it off. Under 144.5 between Ole Miss and Missouri. If you had a gun to the head, I think I'd take Missouri, but Ole Miss has lost back-to-back as well. So I think Ole Miss is the better team. It's just Missouri at home. You decide on that one. I'm not. Under 144.5, Kansas money line. I'm pretty confident in Kansas. I think the guard play will dominate Houston, get Dickinson off the floor if we can. Under 141.5 between Tennessee and Auburn. Both those offenses have been good, but I think the defense shows up for both teams. A&M on the road once again on the money line. They found a way to win that game on the road against Ole Miss. If they can do that, they can easily beat Texas. Texas is not that good of a team. And for the final game pick, we're going to go with Wake Forest on the money line. It is a flyer pick, probably going to be a heavy underdog in that game, but I think it was last year or the year before that, Wake Forest did beat Duke at home, and we had Philip Howski gets hurt on the Storm Court. He flopped. But yeah, that was really cool. I think Wake Forest can win again. Player props, Hunter Salas over his total points, Jason Edwards over his total points, and then DJ Wagner going to get a lot of shots in this game going up against Oklahoma. The new go-to guy for Arkansas over his total points as the final play of the day. Guys, going to do it for the NCAA basketball plays and props for Saturday, January 25th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please share, drop a like on this video, and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.